Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules Matt Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we go out into the world and watch a little bit of anime, and we come back here, discuss it, talk about things we like, talk about things we don't like. And this week is our first time talking about PUELLA MAGI MADOKA MAGICA. I'm going to mess up the name. I don't know how to say the first two, but it's fine. I couldn't figure out a pronunciation. I don't know. But I am not alone going down this dark magical girl journey. I'm here with Matt Galley, my co-host. Matt, um, hi, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good.
Doing well.
It's been a week. It's been a busy one. I'm excited to start a new anime as we do here on this on the show. We got the last one out of the way. We're on to another one. It's very exciting. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. And as you see popping up on my screen here, we have some people joining us in the live chat. If you want to watch these live, we are live on Twitch every Thursday, twitch.tv/JulesTheHuman, JULES the human. Or if you're watching later on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us a like, let us know what you like, and go check out the past episodes. Because like Matt said, we've already been through quite a bit of anime, and this is where we ranked all the other past anime so far. And yeah, it's looking good. I maybe Madoka Magica is going to be Matt's S tier. I'm
We may
hoping.
have found it.
I am hoping. So we rank them every week, or at the end of the show, we finish them, and then we just finished Dimension W, and then now we're on to the next anime. And this one's interesting because I think this is the first time where I've seen an anime and you haven't, because this happened with the very first one that we did called Black Clover,
Yes.
where you had already seen it. This was a rewatch for you, and this is my first time diving into Black Clover. But this one, I've seen this one, and I said this before the show started. I've seen this this was one of my first anime that I've seen way back in the day. So now coming back after watching a lot of anime, well, a decent amount of anime, coming back, I have some thoughts, and it's going to be pretty dope. And I'm not going to spoil anything because I want Matt to experience it the way I experienced it. So, um, let's get into
Yeah.
Madoka Magica because I've been really excited to talk about this anime. This is one of my favorites for sure. Um, magical girls, cute magical girls, and what could go wrong?
What
So
could go wrong indeed?
episode one brings us, I first met her in a dream or something.
Mhm.
That's the name of the episode. What happens in episode one? Give us a brief breakdown.
Looking back at my breakdown, this reads a lot like a trailer for like some
Yeah.
summer movie that you'd see. So Madoka Kaname is living a peaceful life surrounded by friends and family until one day an exchange student joins her homeroom. This sets into motion a chain of events that will see her life turned upside down. There you go.
Did you really write it that way?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just realizing that read like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I
But I
mean,
mean, that's like that is how the show is kind of presenting itself, though. It's trying
sure.
to come off very unassuming in these first couple episodes. There's a couple seeds planted in this first episode, like we meet Homura, the new student, and she like asks Madoka things about like staying herself, and if you stay as you are, you always shall be, stuff along those lines, like ominous stuff that this girl starts throwing at Madoka very early. But
Hmm.
the show doesn't really do anything too outside of the ordinary, save when we finally get to meet Mommy later.
Mommy.
Mommy, is it Mammy? Mommy?
It's mommy. It's
So
just
we
spelled
meet her a
MAMI.
little bit later in the episode, and that's like our introduction to the cast
Hmm.
in this world.
What did you think about the opening music stuff? Like it gives very Sailor Moon You
Hmm.
know, it of course you have the whole like blinding light naked change into the
Hmm.
magical girl thing. We've seen that with Sailor Moon, a bunch of other magical girl stuff. What did you think about the song and the animation behind the opening?
It's
Because
really good, and for like because I'm pretty sure this came out in like 2011, so like for the time it was released, the production in the opening is I think really high quality. Um,
I was
and it
first put
kept my
off.
attention, and I didn't skip it.
Sure, it's
With
really cute. I
have
love the music.
openings where I'm like, all right, I'm over this. But this one, I was like, this song's kind of a banger, not gonna lie.
Yeah,
And it was a nice juxtaposition to give me some levity between watching the latter episodes.
sure. Yes, for sure. Yeah, I was kind of put off at the first two episodes because their ending was just a picture, right? I
Hmm.
think it was just a picture and then music, and I was like, "Oh, I don't really remember that." But then it changes when
Yeah,
things change. So I
yeah.
was like, "Oh, okay, okay, there it is, that badass song." So like you said, we meet the cast. One thing that was like immediately jarring for me, especially in the first two episodes, I forgot, I don't want to say bad, how interesting the animation is, because their faces are a little off.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, like Monica's face in this is more square and round, and like there's
Yes.
no chin to the characters. And I was like, oh, I forgot that this was it. And then in some passing scenes, it's a little odd. And
Yes.
I'm like, I don't know if it's bad, but I was like, I don't remember this. Whenever they get to the more extreme, like huge stuff, that's what I remember. I remember the color patterns and all that stuff we're going to talk about coming up.
Mhm.
But the thing I forgot about was how people's faces were a little odd
Wonky.
at some point,
Yeah.
wonky at some point. It's like, oh, I don't
It's in
remember
more
that.
of those it's in more of the establishing shots where we're seeing, like, all the characters set in the scene. Yeah, they have some pretty, low quality, like, facial features going on at times
Yeah,
for sure, and that leaks into just the general, like, character design almost, I feel like, where it is a bit not uncanny, but it's like you said, different, interesting.
interesting.
We have the chat over there, some are just saying, "Yeah,
Yeah.
bad."
So you said I don't want to be that guy, but in general, the 2 years between Madoka Magica and Dimension W is just crazy. That there was 2 years in between those two being made. That's insane.
I thought Dimension W, like, just came out. I thought Dimension W was brand new.
No. Oh,
Oh,
wait, I don't know.
I thought Dimension W came out, like, last
Never
year,
mind.
late 2022.
I don't know. Maybe it just got to Crunchyroll.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Or like in the story, the time periods. I don't know. Um, yeah. We meet quite a bit of people. Hamada, Sayaka, Mami, Madoka. We got Hitomi as well, who's the popular girl that hangs out with them. I love the little vibe that we got going on. Them
Mhm.
just hanging out. I could be in this. I want to be here. I like they have not a care in the world. They're little middle school girls. They're like, I just want to be they're they're in class. We see a lot of class shots in this one in the next episode
We
talking
do
about
see a lot of class
some
shots,
random
and
shit.
there's like, the unwritten rule of storytelling where anytime you're in a classroom, you're supposed to be anytime the scene is set in a classroom, whatever the lesson going on is supposed to be like play a bigger part of like the themes and the story. This teacher is just unhinged. Some dude, like, she tried making breakfast in bed for him or something, and he
Oh yeah, in
complained
the
about
first
the
episode.
eggs, and she's
Yeah.
like, class, if the eggs come out over hard or over easy, it doesn't matter because they're still eggs, and
It's
that's all
not
that
a
should
deal
matter. She's
breaker.
like,
Yeah.
she's just
I forgot that
so
happened.
that's happening in all
Yeah.
these classroom scenes where I'm just like, I'm trying to pull a bit from the lesson and it's no lesson.
Nope. They're just talking and then the girls are making fun of her like hee hee hee, that's silly, whatever, about the eggs. We also meet Cube, who's the weird cat thing. Um, I don't like Cube's stare. Cube's
Yeah.
stare is kind of odd, just unblinking,
Communicates
just
via
looking,
uh
telepathy.
telepathy. Thank you. So yeah, that's he's a character and I don't like his vibe.
No, for sure. So you said,
With
"Oop, okay, I got that wrong. Ignore me. Dimension W is 2016, but my point stands. The animation style from 2011 is a choice for sure."
mhm.
CZ gets a couple anime picked out, and he just starts telling lies. It's not the CZ show. Anyways, um, the eggs were fine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we meet a lot of new characters. I don't know. I just love the vibe. I love the
Mhm,
vibe of episode one. Love the vibe of episode two. I'm like, this is an anime that I wanted to go on. Um, and it's just really slow. And I like how slow it is. They take the time to show you these characters, show you interacting with them, and get the just like it's almost like a slice of life for a moment. I
mhm,
feel like, and then it goes kind of weird when
mhm.
we start meeting mommy, and then stuff goes wrong. So what happens in episode 2 that would be truly wonderful.
In episode 2, near the end of the first episode, Mommy, like, helps Madoka and Sayuka escape a labyrinth, which is, like, a domain that's created by these things, called witches. So after defeating the witch and getting them out of the labyrinth, Madoka and Sayuka are invited over to, Mommy's house, apartment. She explains, to them what the world of being a magical girl is like before, inviting them out to sit in on her witch hunts. More ominous warnings come from Homura over the course of this episode as well. Um, just along the lines of Madoka and Sayuka. Actually, not Madoka and Sayuka. Madoka specifically should not make a contract. She is
Mhm.
determined to make sure that Madoka by name does not make a contract.
And then they're in the witches. Oh, it's so
The art
interesting. I
style
love
for
it.
the witches and the witch labyrinths are very interesting. This one was just giving very uh Monty Python buffer.
Oh, sure.
Like that's all I could think about.
Yeah.
I was like, when's the little guy gonna come out of a window and tell me what the next act of the play is? Like it's cool. I like it a lot and it makes me just it's very visually interesting, I would say.
Oh my god. Yes. Visually it's so odd because yeah, when I was rewatching it, I'm like, "Oh, their faces are kinda weird," but then once you get to this part, it's so oddly like, it all makes sense, but it doesn't make sense, and it's just so, like, chaotic, but it fits, and I'm just like, "Oh, I love this." I don't know how they did it. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's all, like, paper mache, like, cut out, right?
Mhm.
Probably or something? It's all physical that they just made here. I don't even know how to do it, but like all that stuff, like in the witch's labyrinth is so cool and all that. Um, they're so
It's
bizarre
trippy.
and yeah, it's
Yeah,
so
it's
trippy.
bizarre and it's trippy,
Yeah.
but I love it, and each one has, like, a different, like, style going
Mhm.
for it.
Visually something that's for sure. Don't know if I like it at all. I
Oh, I
think
like it a lot.
yeah, I think it's just because it's so different than what I've seen in any anime that it's so jarring, and I kinda like that. I like that they took the step. I think I like the idea of it, and because it was one of my first anime, and I was like, "I didn't even know you could do that." Like, this was so, like, oh my god. The paper style is sorta like OG South Park, some moving construction paper. Yes, Jill, yes, for sure. Hello, welcome, we're talking about Madoka Magica. On episode 2, Kyubey brings up the idea. What is Kyubey's thing? Kyubey grants you one wish, and a
In
soul
exchange
gem
for a
is born,
contract, yeah.
meaning you are bound to fight witches. So huh? Okay. So the soul gem is where they get their power
Yes.
to fight the witches
Yes.
because the witches spontaneously come out and we need magical girls to fight. But you
Which
get
is
one wish.
spontaneously can appear via that, like, the egg, but then there's also a brief line in the next episode where Mommy explains that there can be, like, a residual, like, that comes off of a witch, and if
Mhm.
you don't take care of the residuals, it can become a full witch itself manifested. So
Mhm.
there's, like, multiple ways witches can be born.
Does it sound like a good contract? At the way that Kyubey brings it up, because we learned some other stuff. We learned, some Hamada is trying to stop Madoka from becoming a magical girl. But on the surface, if Kyubey came up to you one day and said, "Hey, I'll give you one wish, but now you're soul bound to me and you have to fight these witches that are
Mhm.
bad." But I mean, the witches do bad stuff. The witches do make people
Suffer. Yeah.
kill themselves and all this stuff. So like you are doing good and like you could feel fulfillment from that. And I also asked the live chat too.
Which is what the like impression that Madoka gets after watching Mommy out on these witch hunts. She's like, she is just so amazing when she's saving people. Like that's kind of her thing
Yeah,
that she gets out of this. And
I
then
think I would do it.
I mean, we see later on that that not all contracts are made like free of choice.
Sure.
Some are made under duress.
Yeah.
Um
But
so
but I'm saying like right after this episode, you see
no.
Cube
Bro,
strolls into
Cube,
your
get
room.
out of here.
He
You're
just
gonna
pounces.
another magical girl is gonna be in over here talking about how I don't deserve to have my own freaking place to protect, and they're gonna try
Yeah.
to bump me out of my territory. Get out of here, Cube. We don't want that.
Okay. I wish I was a witch. Okay, that's not how that works.
I wish all witches were gone.
Exactly. That's how easy it would have been. That's why Cube preys on the middle school girls because
Yes,
they don't have
exactly.
the
They don't
brain to say, "Wait, let me just wish for them all to
let
die, and
me
then I don't
root
have to do
out
it."
the problem cause of
Yeah.
the thing going on.
But all these magical girls are like, I wanna get out of this car crash, oh," or whatever.
Dang. Somebody in a school environment trying to get people to contract their life away in exchange for fighting another entity.
Never heard that before.
Never heard of that before.
Super original.
Glad
That
this is just all fiction.
yeah. Shout out to everybody. I'll pass. I gotta see those witches all the time. No thanks. I wish to not have to work ever again, please. Is that your wish? Okay. I know you're in high school. Would you like to sign your life away? Bro, I'll do it right now. Why not? Jules calling out all middle school girls. Jules just gave up Tumblr celebrity crush rights. I'm sorry. Please keep your fan accounts, Jules fan accounts coming. Um, so you wouldn't. I think I would. I would like the purpose. I think I would. I wouldn't mind the purpose of doing that. I would be like, okay, cool. Because man, in this episode, mommy looks so cool with all her guns, bro. Did you see mommy? She was like, pshh, 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 and I was like, yes. And then the big one, and I was like, oh my god, it looks so. I'm Monica right now. I'm Monica, like star eyed. I'm like, yo, this is so cool. In the witch's den. Oh my god, I would love that.
It's really cool the powers like that we get to see on display and stuff, but it's definitely like I feel like playing a back seat to a lot of the other things the show's like trying to kind of get at.
Sure.
I don't know, like
I'm not
we haven't
saying
even
it.
gotten into episode 3 yet. Yeah. But
I just like
nihilistic would be
sure.
a light word to use like if I were to use a word at the start of the episode to describe the show, nihilistic.
Yeah, for sure. Again, I've seen the show. I don't want to allude to anything. Matt hasn't seen the show. I would like him to not be spoiled because this is a great anime. But I think it's safe to say this is just set up to show the main thing the characters have to go through, and it's really interesting that they don't become magical girls yet. They don't become or one of them doesn't become a magical girl until episode 4, and it's
Mhm.
like, hold on, there's
And
only
it's only 12
12.
episodes.
There's only
Yep.
12 episodes. What are we doing here? So a witch drops loot, the grief seed. That's what I
Yeah.
put here. And there's possible competing magical girls because they want the grief seed,
Yes.
which is also a problem, which could be a
Mon
problem.
like you can use grief seeds to like kind of refill your mana bar. It's kind of like a little, your little Estus flask that you pick
Yeah.
up off the boss. And mommy like used one charge of it, and out of sight she tosses it to somebody else, who then walks into view seeing Homura holding it, and she's like, there's still another charge in that, you should, you can use it yourself. And she was like,
It's
it
your
was
kill.
your kill, you should keep the loot. And she throws it back to her.
Ugh, I
um
love them.
and then, but oh, before she says that, mommy says, what's the matter, you don't like sharing with others? And then Homura replies to that, and then mommy replies, okay, so that's your answer.
Mhm.
Which is I like Homura a lot. She's
Okay.
very interesting.
I do wanna
um
talk about our favorite,
and I can tell that
characters by the end.
she's setting up to be kind of like the, I mean, at least it seems like she's setting up to be something more than what's initially presented,
Sure.
with like all of her little like drops of warnings and stuff.
CZ says it's feeling very different to the other 12 episode animes we watched so far. They're all jam-packed and fast-paced. This one has good stuff in story, but it feels quite slow. Liking that aspect a lot allows you to really soak it in. Yes, I forgot how slow it was. I was like, CZ, have you seen this anime before? I didn't ask you. I know Kaylee has, I know Smudge has. I don't know if you've seen this one before. Nope, he hasn't seen it before. Oh, buddy, here in for a ride. I love it. I love it. I love that y'all are watching anime with us. This is great. If you want to join, it's every Thursday. You can join the Discord as well, exclamation point Discord, to talk about the anime because we watch new ones all the time. So, um, yeah, it's really slow compared to a Dimension W, where they're like, let's do this, let's do this. And I started this anime and I was like, oh, we're just chilling for a little bit. I was like, okay, we're just chilling. So now episode 3, where everything changed. What happens in episode 3? I'm not afraid of anything anymore.
Episode 3, we see Madoka and Sayuka are kind of beginning to get comfy being out with mommy on these witch hunts, and shares with them how she became a magical girl. While at the hospital, where Sayuka's brother Kyosuke is held,
Brother?
brother, I'm sorry, it's her,
I thought it was lover.
I missed that then. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I must have missed that.
That's why she wants
Her,
to.
I know it's her bond, the person that she
Yeah,
holds a very
sure.
clear and strong bond with. Um, while at that hospital, they notice like a witch seed, and Madoka and Sayuka decide to split up in order to get mommy's assistance to deal with the approaching witch and labyrinth. Ultimately, Homura is needed to show up at the last second to save Sayuka and Sayuka and Madoka, as mommy let the witch in the labyrinth get the upper hand on her.
Burn this sight into your minds. Let's start from the beginning of the episode because the whole thing about Sayaka, um, and this what's the person in the hospital's name? I didn't write their name.
Kyosuke.
Kyosuke. Hold on.
Kyosuke. You're welcome for
Yeah.
that screenshot.
It's a that's probably the one of the more popular gifs that is made about this anime is this one.
That
Because
was
he just kind of
definitely
swallows.
like, I went right when that little another tuff of him like started to expand, and then she was like not responding. I was like, she just failed her wisdom save, her intelligence save, her charisma save, her dex save. Like, you just nat one on everything, didn't you? You're
Yeah.
just not moving.
Okay. But Kyosuke is Sayaka's love interest. That's why she wants the that's why she mommy is posing all these questions to her, like Sayaka is thinking about wishing for him to be better, like
Yes.
for him to get better, for his hand to be healed so he can make music again, so he can play violin again because he was a prodigy as a kid. And mommy's like, do you want him to get better because you want him to get better, or you want him to get better because you want him to love you and you want him to think you did it and know and fall in love and all that stuff? So she was like, I don't know. I'm kind of bad. I suck, man. Sayaka's
Oh, I
like,
missed that bit.
oh man.
I
Sayaka's
caught
like,
that in
I don't know.
in episode 4, when she in the elevator is like, am I gonna do this because like I just want their like, yeah, their
Mm.
gratitude or whatever? And she's like, I'm a horrible person. Must miss that.
Yeah.
It must
It's
like
fine. She
yeah.
cares about
Uh,
him. That's a big deal. That's
yeah.
the big
Her,
thing
I
where
wrote Sayuka's bond, and I
sure.
just said brother. Yeah.
So he says the environments are when you're not seeing witches as wild too. Glass rooms for school. The mom's bedroom was like chairs all around for no reason that we know of so far. A bathroom full of mirrors. Why is the world this way? I want to know exactly. Like their house is huge. Their bathroom is huge in their house in Monica's house. The school is all glass windows. There's like it's really open, which is really interesting. Which could be juxtaposition to what they're talking. What the stuff's at the end. But it's interesting. You want to know? You want to know more why it's so the art and the
Hmm.
structure and all that stuff is interesting. So yeah, Sayaka has this bond. She likes this person that used to play violin, but he's in the hospital. He can't play anymore. We also, like you said earlier, was that mommy was in a car accident and she wished to survive. So, like you said before, that some people don't have a choice.
Hmm.
What's his name? Kyubei came to her when she was dying and said, "You have a, I can give you a wish, and you know,
She
you have
probably
to become
wished
a
to
magical."
live through that. Yeah.
Yeah, it alluded to her being like, I wish to survive this, or I
Yeah.
wish to continue
She
on,
was
and
under duress when she made the choice to accept the contract, and that's the point that's being made, that like
which is
she didn't have a chance to make the choice, and she really wants them, Madoka and Sayuka, to like be able to like feel it out and be able to decide for themselves, basically.
my first check next to Kyubey being a little suspect. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Where it's
definitely.
like, what? You did what? Like when she
Mhm.
was dying, bro? Like really?
And it's
Um,
like, sure, if he wasn't there, maybe she would have like passed away. But then it gets into the argument that, like, whether or not like a life like this is, are you even living anyways?
yeah, that's true. Yeah. And mommy has a lot of talk towards the end of her life because mommy does indeed
Is Cube
die.
actually the devil? That is
Whoa.
my prediction. He's actually the devil. And
Maybe. I
they're
don't know.
actually making contracts with the devil.
Maybe
That's
we're all
my
the devil.
that's my one prediction.
Okay, we'll figure it out. Mommy talks about being so alone through this whole thing. Like you said, is this life worth living even because you're doing all this stuff and you can't tell anybody and nobody gives you praise or anything because nobody can see it and nobody
Regular people can't
knows.
even see Cube.
Yeah, regular people can't even see him. And mommy, now that I rewatch it, the signs were there. Everything was going too well for mommy. Now that I
Oh yeah.
know anime tropes, I was like, oh, like at the beginning when I first saw it, it was like my fourth anime or something. And I didn't get that. I was like, oh my God, this is so great. This is going to be great. And then I was completely dumbfounded when mommy gets eaten. And I was like, oh no, I was so sad. But now she's like, "It's gonna be so great. I have friends now, and now you can fight by my side all the time." And now I see it. I was like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
it
It
never goes right."
it's the training regimen, the training scout regimen finally going to retake the wall that fell in Attack on Titan. They're like, "Oh yeah, we got this. We're gonna retake our home," and then Attack on Titan happens.
Is that a obscure anime? No one's ever heard
Yeah.
of it. Um, so Monica wants to be a magical girl to fight with mommy and be friends and be happy and live together and all this stuff because mommy's alone and then mommy dies and it just it hits like a truck. Shout out to Zombieland Saga. That's how it hit me because I got
Oh
mad
my
at that.
god.
Yes. It just hit me like a truck, man. I was like, "Oh, this is how they do it." Like, what did you think? Did you think it was real? Like, did you think like, "Wait a minute, they really just did that?" And then they just
Well,
move
like,
on.
yes and no. Yes, because again, very familiar with the tropes and stuff, and I was kind of like with the some of the seeds that had been planted earlier in the show, like I was on
Grief
my
seeds?
toes, on the defensive, kind of like waiting for this to happen, especially after the whole, like, she literally says like, I'm not afraid of anything, or like,
Yeah.
I can do anything, something like that. And then we also, again, Homura, who planted a seed earlier in this episode, just one little line, this witch isn't like the rest. And then I was like, oh, there it is. Like
Yeah.
like, and then she just totally disregards her. So I'm like, yeah, something's gonna happen. And I wish the show could have made me maybe think that, like, I wish I could have bought into it a little bit more, that it wasn't gonna happen, so I would have been a little bit more surprised.
Okay.
But at the same time, then it's like if they do something like that, I'm gonna be mad if they don't, like, foreshadow it or hint at it at
Sure.
all. So, like, I go either way with it. Either way, I still think it's, like, a really, like, impactful scene that did hit hard regardless of me, like, knowing something was gonna happen.
Because they do it, they cut away, he
Mhm.
eats her, cuts away, and at that point I was like, "Oh, they do it now?" And then they show her legs dangling, and
Yeah.
it's all off
And her
screen, but
magical, like, abilities break.
it's so jarring. It was jarring the second time. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah,
"Oh."
the cut is, like, the thing, like, overhead, like, kind of going over her, and then it cuts right to Homura where the spell where she was bound breaks.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah, and
that's
it's
a
like,
like,
"Wait."
that was a really cool cut where
Yeah,
it's like,
because she was
"Damn."
like, "This doesn't." Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Mommy's death really is a turning point for the tone and expectation of the show, especially when taken in the context of anime that was airing around the same time.
Context of the time, yes, definitely. And I was doing a little bit of Googling before we started the show to see, like, other cutesy animes that turn dark or whatever, and I could really find only, like, 2 other examples of other shows that or examples that had done this, one being Elfen Lied in, like, 2006, and then I can't remember the other one, but it was, like, in, 2003 or 2005. So, this being in 2011, kind of shook up a lot of, the general audiences at the time, for sure.
I remember watching the first time. I remember I knew she was gonna die, but I did not expect it to happen so early. Episode 3, it all changes. It's insane. Monica walks so current dark anime could run for sure.
Yeah,
I
Jules is
love
gonna hate
this.
this one, but there's a lot of parallels I could draw to, Jujutsu Kaisen with this show.
Well, then why didn't I like it? Um, we get a whole new ending. This is the true ending where a silhouette of Madoka is walking while her surroundings change and all this stuff, and it's so dark ending. And I was like, "Yo, this is it, okay." And now it's gonna, like I've said before, this sets up everything I think about 12 episode shows. Like this is my first 12 episode show where I was like, oh, this follows the trend where everything's going to be exponential. And I've talked about this with other 12 episode shows, but now this sort of sets the scene and we're going. It's all gonna happen and unravel.
Mhm.
But we got to get through episode 4. So
Oh, yeah.
mommy dies, new ending. Then we come back, episode 4, miracles and magic are real. What happens here?
In the fallout of losing, a friend and mentor, Sayuka and Madoka begin to feel dejected and give up on becoming magical girls. Madoka shares a moment with, Homura before, receiving yet another warning. Kyosuke, um, hits a breaking point, prompting Sayuka to take up the magical girl mantle in order to have a wish to give him his the function of his hands back. Um Hitomi gets possessed by a witch, where Madoka follows her, and then the newly appointed magical girl Sayuka comes to their aid to save them in the just you know just when things seemed all for naught, when everything seemed lost. At the end of the episode we get a bit of a new character being introduced, going by the name Kyoko, and apparently they caught wind of mommy's death and showed up in order to take over her old territory.
Let's go. Set up for the
Enter
next
Kyoko.
episode. Yeah. So we get a lot about the story, about Sayaka's real like change or Sayaka's real like story development. Do you like this sort of like we know Madoka is the main character,
Mhm.
but do you like this little I guess, side story or double main characters that we have in Sayaka and Madoka?
I do. If we're going to get side characters, I prefer that they be, fleshed out to, a certain point. We see Monica fleshed out just as much. It's more internal that we see with her, where Sayuka, they're showcasing what could happen when the bond is with another person.
Well,
I
we see
think they're
her
just
I think we see Madoka bond with her mom a lot.
yeah,
We
we
see her
do.
bond with her mom, and then, uh, Sayaka with in the hospital mostly,
Mhm.
but they show, like, 2 different sides, I guess, or the
I
same
feel
side.
like the bond with Monica's mom is more like her trying to understand the woman her mother is so she can become a person like her. And that's where the conversation with her dad comes into play, where he makes the point that she lives a life that I forgot the line he uses. He says something along the lines of like she's not living her dream job, but she's living her life in her most ideal way,
Yeah, because she
and
wants
that's
to
all
be
that matters there.
challenged
She
and
wants to
all
be
that.
challenged, and she wants to be able to do her best at something.
We haven't even talked about Monica's family because it's such a cool little home that I forgot about, rewatching
It's
it
the most
now.
stable thing of this show.
It's the most stable thing. The mom is just out in a business suit, and the dad's just doing dishes and stuff. I was like, oh hey, let's go, okay. And then their little son, daughter, and stuff. And I was like, this is such a cool, cute little home. Like I just love their little home. All the windows, it's super spacious, and she's just worked to the bone as a businesswoman.
Mhm.
And I'm like, go for it, go you, go
Yeah.
mom.
That's what she wants. She wants to be able to, push herself in something, and that's where I think that combines with the internal conflict of, Madoka, where she's trying to decide whether or not she wants to become a magical girl. But, like, part of her really wants to because she thinks she could just work really hard like her mom does and be able to save people like she saw mommy doing.
Hmm.
And she wants that best of both worlds. She wants to be like her mom, but she also had a mentor. And she, like these are the internal conflicts that the show is trying to, like, kinda showcase with her. But I think the show, in Sayuka's case, is trying to, like, just have a different take on the themes at play within the show
For
about
sure.
being a good person, what it means to be a good person, and stuff like that, at least
Uh,
so far.
sure. And it's interesting. I, I don't know. It does make sense because they are so young. Like all this stuff makes sense because it's already well established that they're middle school and they don't know. And like Sayaka thinks this is her true love and all this stuff. And I'm like, I get it. I'm like, I understand. She wants to use her wish and be bound to life as a magical girl because this one guy she enjoys company. And then we see him break, sort of. We like
Yeah.
you said, we see him break there while he's like, "Why are you making me listen to music? I can't enjoy it anymore. I can never play it." Um, and Madoka, or hold on, sorry, Sayaka, this was actually really cool, and I'm intrigued because I just got this. So she asks, Sayaka asks, what are you listening to? And he says he's listening to the Girl with the Flaxen Hair by WC. And I do is my love for this song because of this show. I didn't know about it or I didn't play it until I got to college, but I do love this song. This song is so good. The Girl with the Flaxen Hair, you should go hear it. It's a piano, or you can, yeah, hear other people play it, but it's piano and it's such a good song. But deeper than that, the song is meant as a symbol here because it's a symbol. The song calling the girl with the flaxen hair is a symbol of naivety, gentleness, and innocence, which is very interesting, which is playing off of the magical girl thing about her, about Sayaka. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, yo, this is so cool. Cause I looked it up. I was like, again, in these 12 episode shows, sometimes, most of the time, except when they're in class, is the
Still trying to
stuff
figure
is
out how
there.
eggs correlate.
Yeah, we'll figure it out by the end. I don't know, but most of the time, stuff it makes sense and it needs to be there. The girl with the flaxen hair was not just a pick. It's because this is these girls, these magical girls. They just don't know. They don't know things, and they're trying to figure out life, but then they're presented with this choice, and now it could save them, it could help them, or I don't know, we don't know because they're naive. They could hurt them later on because
Mhm.
we saw mommy die. And Hamada is saying that this is the fate of all magical girls. This is the fate. They're all gonna die here. Nobody's gonna know. She's gonna be a missing girl forever. And it sucks. Is this what you want? And then we see Sayaka
Yep.
come in as a magical girl to save
Well, she
Madoka.
takes it so, like, she like, Madoka is kind of mortified, and she's like, "Oh, I kinda just had a change of heart, haha."
No, that's not okay. We'll figure out what the eggs are. We'll figure out what
Full egg breakdown.
maybe the teacher is the bad guy. We don't know. Matt doesn't know.
The friends we made were the eggs along the way.
The eggs were the friends we made along the way. Um, I don't know. How do you feel about Sayaka doing this before Monica? Because
No, yeah,
this
yeah.
was news to me as well. Because I was like, oh, I forgot Sayaka became a magical girl before Monica.
Yeah,
Monica's supposed to be our main character.
and
She's
again,
the last one.
I think it's, again, something that makes sense in the context of, like, the conflicts of the 2 characters that we see, because Sayuka is, again, prompted by something that's more of an external force, her bond, and when pushed to a breaking point, she did whatever means she had in order to, like, alleviate what was going on for that break to happen.
Mhm.
But with Monica's case, it's literally just her still trying to decide, like, what do I want? Um, for a while, it was just, what do I want out of the wish? But then the thing with mommy happened, and now she's like, well, now I don't think I want this at all. Um,
What do you think Cube gets out of this?
that's why I
Because
think he's a devil.
yeah, because we've seen him try to push them to earlier. I think in episode 2 when Mommy was showcasing her powers and all that stuff, we saw him be like, "All right, you got to come on. Let's make those wishes now." And then Hamada or Mommy, I forgot who, but they're like, "No, don't listen to him. Like you got to make this mean something."
Yeah.
What do you think he gets out of this? Do you think he's making the witches? Do you think he's but then he gives the powers to the magical girls? Like, what do you think Kyubey's end goal is here?
I I I think it's, yeah, something to do with him just not being the entity that he poses himself as.
Okay,
He seems like he's, like, somebody that is playing a different side, like,
sure.
for sure, like, some sort of ulterior motive than what he's presenting, because he hasn't stated, like, a I get anything out of this. And in the case of comparing it to something like Gotchaman Crowds, he's not like JJ, where JJ just kind of, like, didn't influence anybody, period. This little guy keeps going around, like, behind everybody's back, talking to everybody in, like, what seems like different, like, it's schoolyard, it seems like.
Sure.
Oh, that kid over there says he doesn't like you very much. Oh, that guy right there, he says that you suck, bro. Like, he's just going around talking to all these different pockets of people who all have an initiative to be against each other for their own incentive gain.
Mhm. Because he was there talking to Hyoko, right? At the end as well.
Yes, and
He
he
was like,
said he said, like, "I called you, I didn't think you were gonna make it here in time, but hey, there's some other magical girl here now that already made a contract with me, so this is her turf now. So what are you gonna do about it?"
so you think
He
he's stirring
literally
the
says,
pot?
"What are you gonna do?" He's egging them on.
Sure. That's what the eggs mean.
That's where the eggs come in. Oh my
It's a
god.
metaphor for
The
him
eggs are a
egging them
metaphor for
on.
milk
Yeah.
crisis.
The eggs. We said it, mind blown. Do you think Cube, the little cat guy, is he playing dumb with the dreams that Monica was having? Because apparently Hamada is convinced, and Kyobe is convinced that Madoka needs to become a magical girl because of the immense potential that she has. And in the first one, she first met her in a dream or something. What it
Yeah.
was a dream sequence of, I think it was Hamada or
And she
Mami.
still hadn't made a contract with him at that point.
No, it was the very first thing that we saw in
Yeah.
the show, the very first episode, and she saw Kyubey in her dreams. Do you think
Yes.
he's playing coy? He doesn't know that, or did he do that on purpose to kind of plant the seed?
The dreams are a good thing to bring up. I'm not sure. I don't know how I feel about that. I didn't even think about it before. It could be him, like, yeah, if he has
Him planting
telepathy,
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
who's not to say where the limits of his powers lie. So that definitely seems like something that he could be pulling off. Something else though about the dreams is that they're in a different aspect ratio. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did.
The show has different aspect ratios, and I'm not sure
If it's
what
like a
it's trying
stylistic
to,
choice
if it's a
or
stylistic choice or if it's trying to
has
signify
meaning.
that it's something else. And it seems like almost like those shots that have uh the black bars with the more widescreen aspect ratio, they seem a lot more dreamlike, and it seems like it could be Cube trying to influence their choices.
I don't know.
That could
We'll
be
have
a
to find out.
thing.
It could be.
I didn't even think about that because I was wondering what the aspect ratio thing was.
Sure. I don't
Oh
know.
my
Again, we're talking about Madoka Magica. I've seen it before. Matt hasn't seen it before, and we would love for you to watch it. We talked all about episode 1 through 4. We're going to talk about 5 through 8 next week. But Matt, I want to know, who is your favorite character so far, in the first 4 episodes.
god. Homura is my favorite character for sure.
Let's
Like
go.
she seems like a seasoned magical girl that just is somebody that's gonna make it through to the end of the series for sure. That's like
Mhm.
one bet that I'd be willing to place, is that by the time the end credits roll, Homura is still standing. And that's like,
Ooh, that's a good bet.
that's something I'd put money on.
Okay. Man, I love mommy. She's so cool. Oh, I love mommy and her guns.
Her guns were really
I
cool.
love the way the stylistic choice to she only has one shot in the guns, so
Yeah.
she made a ton of them on the ground, and she was just like, and I was like, yes, that's so cool. I love that. Cece's favorite character is the witch that offed mommy. Wow, you like this guy? They were super cute. It gave me like it gave me like Cuphead vibes.
Hmm.
Gives me Cuphead vibes, but that's such a good GIF. I'm gonna post that GIF in the Discord after this. I love that.
It's getting emote.
Um, are you getting okay? If Hamada dies, will you be sad? Are you getting attached to these characters yet? Because you said it foreshadowed Mommy's death quite often, like
Hmm.
leading up to it. But if by the end Hamada's dead, like, is that
I'm
going to be a
not
problem?
I'm not attached to Hamura because of the sense that, like, we only know that her only like goal, her only drive that we've gotten from her is that she doesn't want Madoka to make a contract, and she wants her own soul witch eggs from witches that she slayed herself.
Mhm.
So she's like presented as a very strong-willed character,
Yeah, we
but
don't
I
get
don't have any sense of like her emotional sense of mind stakes and stuff like that.
sure.
But she might be like mommy, somebody who just doesn't have anybody. Uh,
Yeah, because we haven't
so
gotten any
I'm
backstory.
definitely way more invested into like Madoka and Sayuka because I can see their bonds and what like what tribulations they're going through relating to that
Gotcha.
and their conflicts at play. But it doesn't seem like, yeah, Hamura's only conflict is I don't want Madoka to make a contract. And Mommy points out that, like, if it's only because that she has more potential than you, that's how a schoolyard bully acts. And like Homura didn't like that. Homura
Yeah.
didn't like that. But she doesn't say whether or not that's why.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. She could be true. It could be true that she just doesn't want someone else to suffer the same fate um as him.
Oh,
So
we
shout
got
out to
a
Alex.
yeah.
Hello, Alex. Thank you
Hi,
for the
Alex.
500 bits. Hey guys, love the podcast. I know I've told Mr. Galley about this, but I love to put in Bakamana Gatari into the pot. Okay. Sure. If it is if it's an anime that's not NSFW, we'll definitely add it. Thank you for the 500 bits. That goes both to me and Matt.
Bakemonogatari.
Bakamon Gatari.
Bakemonogatari.
So don't forget that. We'll add that
Thank you
to
for
the
the
list.
bits, Alex.
Again, if you want to add, so we watch these anime fairly often. We switch animes. Oh no, I don't have my list of them. Oh, I
Uh-oh.
deleted my list. But we have a huge list of anime that
Here's all the clothes.
are put in by me, put in by Matt, and then put in by you. So if you want to give us 500 bits is what it costs to put an anime into the chest. And then once we're done with Madoka Magica, we pick another one. Once we watch 12 episodes of the next anime, we pick another anime. So we're just constantly changing anime, and hopefully you watch them with us. That's the goal of the show, is that you watch anime along with us. And maybe you're like, I don't know if I want to watch it. We're watching it. You'll have somebody to talk about it with. And maybe it's like, oh, I don't know. I've never seen that one. Or I've seen that one already. I'm going to watch it again with y'all and we'll talk about it. So, again, 500 bits is how you get that. Thank you so much to Alex for the 500 bits. That goes to me and Matt. And we talked about episode 1 through 4 of PUELLA MAGI MADOKA MAGICA. I'm still looking for Matt's S tier. This is where we put it. This is where we put all the animes. On the left is me, on the right is Matt. That's how we rated. Psychopaths for me was an S tier. We won't talk about what's at the F tier, but we rate them at the end when we finish them. We watch episode 1 through 4. If you want to be in on the conversation, watch episode 5 through 8 of PUELLA MAGI MADOKA MAGICA before next Thursday. And yeah, if you're watching later on YouTube or on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. It's hopefully a fun ride, even though it's had some sads in this anime. I really hope you enjoy it, Matt, and I really hope you enjoy it, community. But Matt, where can the people find you when you're not talking about magical girls?
When when I'm not here, you can find me on my Twitch at twitch.tv, Matt_Galley, Matt_GALLY. And then on all my socials, if you want to follow me, that's going to be at it's Matt_Galley. Same one, just with that ITS at the front. When we're not here, where can the people find you?
JulesTheHuman, JULES, the human on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Google Me. I don't know. On my YouTube, right here on Twitch. I'm going to be playing some games at some point.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching. And wait, one prediction. Last prediction. What
Sure.
happens in the next 4 episodes? Anything.
Next 4 episodes,
Okay, does Madoka become a magical girl?
in the next 4 episodes, no.
Yeah.
Okay,
No?
I don't think Madoka is going to become a magical girl until like episode 10, 11, or 12.
Okay.
That's what I'm feeling at
Okay.
this point. I think the show is gonna do that, gonna pull that on me. But if I'm not, I'll be pleasantly surprised. But now that we've gotten Sayuka before Madoka, I'm like, yeah,
She's not doing it.
yeah, it's like sums up here, sums afoot,
Interesting.
sums afoot.
Interesting.
And it's gonna be only until Madoka does not have a choice, given her character traits, that she will become a magical girl.
Okay.
And right now, she is not backed into that corner.
Dope. I'm down. All right.
I'd ask
Well,
you for a prediction, but you've already
I've
seen
already seen it.
it.
Thank you for watching and come back next Thursday for another episode of the Jules Matt Anime Hour and watch episode 5 through 8 of Madoka Magica, and we'll talk about it next week. All
Next
right.
week. Bye.